In 2005, BLS was a small Delhi-based visa processing business. 15 years later, the Aggarwal family, with Shikhar Aggarwal at the helm, have turned this into a tech-driven business services titan with clients and operations in over 60 countries. How on earth did that happen?
Navigating the complex realm of visa and passport documentation can often take time and effort for travelers and governments. Fortunately, at the helm of BLS International, Shikhar Aggarwal has addressed this challenge head-on, revolutionizing the industry with innovative solutions. In a world where documentation can be a bottleneck in international travel, Shikhar Aggarwal's strategic vision and unwavering dedication have propelled BLS International to the forefront of the travel document processing industry. His relentless commitment to quality and efficiency has set new industry standards, consistently surpassing the ever-evolving demands of global mobility. Under Shikhar Aggarwal's leadership, BLS International has become a pioneer in visa and passport services, simplifying and streamlining the documentation process for travelers and governments worldwide. Join us as we explore his inspiring journey and profound impact on the travel document processing industry, setting an exemplary standard for excellence and innovation.
And joining us now, the Joint Managing Director of BLS International, Shikhar Aggarwal. Shikhar, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jasper. Very nice to meet you.
We're delighted to have you here. Now, 15 years ago, you were a small visa processing business. Today, and this is kind of mind-blowing, 64 countries, 60,000 staff members and associates, a market cap on one business of $1.5 billion, another business about to list. Has this been a surprise even to you?
No, I would definitely say this has been a roller coaster journey. It is a surprise, but we knew where we wanted to get there. You know, our vision was clear. So I think it is a surprise, but also there's a lot of hard work, perseverance, commitment of all the 60,000 people who have made this possible today.
And Shikhar, we'll get into the development of the business, but first of all, I mean, you're a young guy, you're 32 years old, you're making me feel my age. You've been in the business for only 9 years, but before we start the journey, you know, when you were sent away to the University of California, was there any bit of you that wanted to stay there and not join the family business? What were your thoughts then?
No, definitely once you go, you study abroad, you see different things happening, but, definitely you want to explore more over there, what are the opportunities. But over here, I had an amazing opportunity started by my father, there was enormous potential for growth. So I was really excited also to come back and value add, how we can take things to another level.
And did Dad give you a free choice?
I think at that time, when I was studying, I saw him also struggling with growing the business. The business had grown. It was started in the year 2008, 2009, so it's only had been 5 years. And definitely he needed a helping hand too. So I thought this is a good opportunity for me to utilize my education experience, my background. I had worked in a company called Grant Thornton for a couple of years as part of my chartered accountancy course also. So definitely I wanted to value add, and that was the reason I chose that it will be a good opportunity for me to grow and learn along the journey and also value add.
This journey is a remarkable journey, but when you think about it from a strategy perspective, have you just wandered in a hopeful way, or have you had a deliberate plan, and how do you think about strategy?
No, I think strategy is definitely evolving as you work along. Strategy changes, but definitely you have to have a strategy in place that is well documented and you have to work on it. Strategy cannot be only for 1 year, it has to be 5 years ahead. When I had joined the business in 2014, we were 90% focused on one government client, which was we were mostly working for the Indian government. We wanted to really explore more, see the opportunity out there with other foreign governments. Today, we work in 64 countries with more than 40 client governments, I will tell you more about the governments that we work with, but definitely we had a strategy in place. We wanted to diversify, not put all our eggs in one basket. So there was a dedicated strategy for that, and we had dedicated people for that, and we implemented a strategy, and we've been successful.
Okay, and we'll see how that thought process unpacks. But just take us quickly to ground zero, right? Business family in the manufacturing sector. What happened?
See, I think for this I need to give most credit to my father, Mr. Shikhar Aggarwal. He's the founder of this company also. So in manufacturing, if you see how you earn profits is mostly through cost saving, And service industry obviously had a fancy back then, and that the profit margins, we're doing EBITDA margins of 20%. So they're definitely the profit margins are much higher. So there was a problem, there was a need. India was opening up, people were traveling abroad. Embassies, there were big lines outside the embassies. Embassies did not have the bandwidth or the money to handle these visas. So we were in touch with embassies, doing some background verification work for them, and that is how we got accidental entry into the business, I would say that.
So it was partly a kind of deliberate thought process about the market's evolving, the margins are much better than manufacturing, and partly, I guess, just working your way into the system, right? Was that hard to win these contracts? I mean, people normally assume that winning government contracts must be like a form of torture. But what was that like when you first started?
I think it wasn't only hard, it is hard even today. So definitely, as a new player, we are competing with established companies, which are owned by private equity funds, which have global presence, in their ethos. We being a small homegrown Delhi-based company, started with a foreign embassy in Delhi, then we kind of grew with the Indian government business, and then going to a foreign government, Indian homegrown player, and telling them that where you're competing with European players, to trust them with their work is not only hard, it's very difficult, to get even an entry or a meeting with them. So it took us a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication, a lot of perseverance. We did not get tired, we did not back down, Slowly we won small contracts with smaller European clients, made them trust us, and that is how the doors eventually started opening for us.
And in a place as complicated as the BLS ecosystem, Shikhar, how do you kind of keep on it every day across multiple markets, multiple processes? Is that a cultural thing? Is it a training thing? Talk to us a bit about that.
So I think it's very difficult if you have only one mindset to operate in 64 countries. You need to think like a local. Although we, as Indians, we are more flexible, in terms of adapting, but you still need to have in terms of culture, you need to have entrepreneurship developed into your country managers, into your people on the ground who are actually dealing with people on a daily basis. No matter the system and processes that you have in place, there is a big human element in our business. So unless the people are problem solvers on the ground, they understand the local culture systems, it is very difficult to deliver these services.
So actually it's more about a distributed system and enablement. You can't control it from the center, right? If you try, it won't work.
See, what you can control is the technology. You can do development here. You can control, policies here. But the actual deployment happens on the ground.
Happens.
So people on the ground have to be, trained, and they need to accept responsibility, and they need to be there dealing with the problems on a day-to-day basis.
People deliver our business with pride. We carry that BLS pride everywhere where we go. And that will be consistent across all our employees. You're meeting me, you meet anyone across BLS offices, you will find the same element of pride amongst them.
Shikhar, that's really fascinating. In the next section, we're going to get kind of into the belly of the beast and understand exactly how this works. What do you think?
Let's go.
Okay. So, Shikhar, we've talked a bit about the why and the genesis, right? But what our viewers really want to know is how on earth in 15 years you've gone from where you started to where you are now. Try and synthesize that for us and tell us about the challenges, because it can't have been easy, right?
So definitely, see, being an Indian homegrown company, competing with European players, trying to work for European governments is a big challenge. There was a bias, when we start. Prejudice, definitely there is, unsaid prejudice. It is not there in the rules, but there was a prejudice, and penetrating that was the biggest challenge. So what we did that was, how we did that, first of all, when we were applying for tenders, it's a government tender business, the pre-qualification criteria was very restrictive. So even though we had worked in this industry from 2008, 2009, 2014, for 6-7 years, then when we had started looking at foreign government work, like European governments, there was a biases in the tenders itself that you need to have worked with these particular European government for many years to even qualify for these tenders. So it was like a chicken and egg story.
Closed shop.
Yeah, how do you get in? So we actually then really tried hard. We got good people from the industry to work for us. We started working for governments which did not have this restrictive criteria, smaller centers, smaller volumes in different parts, remote parts of the world. And that is how slowly we started build up our qualification criteria. We started convincing those governments that, see, we are handling big volumes for the Indian governments, and now we understand your processes also, and we are working for your partner governments, although in small numbers, but you can trust us. So there was no alternative to the government before we came into the picture.
But does this happen, Shikhar, because you're incredibly culturally sensitive, or does it happen because of lots of little things?
So I think to change a big event takes a lot of small things,
Yeah.
It took us, I would say, from the initiation of the company from 2008, 2009, all the steps that we took to reach to a certain level to 20 countries, and then again the small steps that we took with smaller governments, with small European governments in different parts of the world. Handling small volumes is definitely tough, because to make the center profitable, with all the compliances and SLAs, is not feasible. But we took that risk. We delivered that, and basis of that, the new contracts that started coming, we started qualifying, and we eventually started winning bigger contracts with governments like Germany, Spain, Italy, Hungary, Portugal, Poland.
So in effect, having proven yourself, and use that term trust, right, having established trust with your government client, you're then allowed to go upstream, I don't know whether it's upstream or downstream, into other areas, right? And leverage your technology and your platform in other ways, right?
Definitely. So see, how we started the company with visa consular services, which is 80% of the revenue. Then 4-5 years back, we got an opportunity within India to provide different service delivery, like birth certificate renewal, arms licenses, different kind of services, banking correspondent services. So we thought the model is similar. We've already introduced the technology, we have the softwares, we have the service delivery experience. Why cannot we replicate it in India? So that's what we did now. Within India, there's a company called BLS e-Services, which is our subsidiary, which we have plans of IPOing. We've already filed the DRHP. We've grown 150% in that company compared to last year. We see enormous growth potential in that company. We have around 600,000 people coming to our centers every day in India, availing different kind of banking services, citizen services. The model is the same, wherein there is a government client, which is a government department, and citizens. We are providing that interface. And also, I would say there's a big service delivery element in it. We have got service delivery into tier 1, 2, 3 cities of India and rural India, where people no longer have to now travel to the main city centers to get basic services and forego their wages. So I would say we have taken, an Indian company has taken an international model and now taken into the hinterlands of the country.
We are doing a lot of services which we are giving globally in more than 67 countries at the convenience of the customers, because of which we can say that the customers are happy and our vision of touching the lives is also getting fulfilled.
In the next section, we're going to talk a bit about India and where you stand on that. Should we do that?
Yes.
Great, let's do it. India. Shikhar, can we talk about India?
Definitely. Whatever we are is because of India. So we have to talk about it.
Okay, so we're just coming off the G20. Everybody's feeling good. You're pan-India in your business, so you have a unique perspective on this, Shikhar. How are you seeing it? How are you seeing the upside? How are you seeing the challenges?
So definitely India, rising story, India shining. We're very passionate about the growth that is happening in India. If you talk about our e-governance business, where we have multiple thousands of centers in different geographies of India, not only tier 1, we are in the hinterlands of tier 2, tier 3 small villages, You see the consumer pattern over there, We are providing digital services over there. People are getting more educated, They want best of services that are happening in the cities. They have access to that information. They want service delivery of that level. The standards are improving. Their purchasing power is increasing. They have more money than before. So definitely, I think the intelligence, they have more choices. So definitely, the India shining story is something that we are very proud of, and which we are actually going to utilize in the growth journey of the company going forward. Not only that, we being a global company, primarily, we are listed in India. We want to give chance to the Indian entrepreneurs to go and work for us across the world.
Okay, and question we often ask on the show, Shikhar, is I mean, India is an amazing entrepreneurial arena. Do you think somehow being an entrepreneur in India makes you a better entrepreneur?
See, definitely the thing is that once you know how to drive on the Indian roads, it's very easy to drive across the world.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely the challenges, that comes in India, and the opportunity size in India, it is survival, that you have tactics that you have to work at once you start the business. The learning that is here is amazing, phenomenal. That is how, we started in Delhi in the year 2008, 2009. With a foreign government. We grew for many years with the Indian government in 20 countries. All the business ropes we learned here. That is how we were able to scale our business across the globe. The talent, our head office is in India. The IT talent, the HR talent is all based in India. The R&D, the development happens here. So definitely, India is the biggest part of our growth story, and the potential to the customers that we have in India is also enormous.
I think that's really interesting. I want to talk a bit about you. Okay, we talked about the business, we talked about India. You're a young married guy, right? Congratulations on the birth of your first daughter, Seisha. Priorities will change for you. How do you see the broader life outside of work, and how do you get balance?
See, I think, I'm mindful of the fact of my age, and I know I have a long journey ahead. I'm in no hurry or rush to achieve success tomorrow or day after. I know I can get sustained success if I don't falter or make big mistakes and don't focus too much only on growth. So, definitely this is one aim which I look at my business with. If you look at my background, I'm a Delhi boy, being brought here, went to Delhi University, met people from all different walks of life, pursuing my chartered accountancy course, worked in Grant Thornton, did some summer schools abroad, UC Berkeley and this international school. So I have had a fair bit of exposure from all different walks of life, So I was really thinking, what is my aim? What I want to achieve. See, one way of growing in this business is to remind yourself about your own self-worth, or your confidence that you have in yourself, that it is you who can really work hard and achieve or make a difference. So definitely, I try to create a balance. With my daughter now, definitely try to spend more time with her, with my wife. We love to travel. I'm also part of this organization called YPO. There are a lot of training programs that I love to attend. I recently attended a program that was training us how to identify future trends. What are the early signals?
With Shikhar's guidance and I would say, fire in the belly which he has, he guides us in making sure that we achieve these goals of the company, and end of the day, the vision of the company has been achieved in a much faster way.
It's great. Listen, we're in the final straight of this. It's way too early to talk about legacy, right? You've just come out to bat in the centre, frankly, on a five-day test match. But if you think about, I hear everything about you wanting to fulfil yourself, right? Be the best you can be. How do you feel about giving back, right? What's the bigger purpose for you, Shikhar? Is there one you may not know the answer yet?
See, what I have formed this answer in my head, and over the years of my experience, limited experience of 9 years of working, employing huge amount of people across the world, we are giving employment to a lot of people. I think how I want to give back to society is empower them. We do have a CSR budget where we have tied up where we are spending money. But I think the real empowerment comes by delivering services at the ground level. So if you talk about our e-governance business, where we are in different parts of India, rural India, where people had to go to city centers to avail basic services like birth certificate now, which is available at their doorstep. They don't have to travel for 3 days, forgo their wages, earnings, stand in line. So I think that is also a big part of giving back for us, bringing convenience to people at their doorstep, That is, I think, one element that...
And empowering them,
and
right?
empowering them, and empowering them at their doorstep, basic services. So I think that is something that we want to focus on.
Yeah.
Apart from, as we grow as a company, definitely, give back to the society in a more meaningful way, empower people, and to the people who are working with us, to the employees that are direct relationship to my business, who are directly getting impacted on a daily basis, their daily life is getting impacted. How you can empower them, how you can empower them financially, culturally, training-wise, how you can make them grow. So we have good growth programs within the company where people grow and they can take senior leadership positions, in the company. It is whoever performs, the only thing is performance.
Experience of working with the company has been great because the management values the voice of their employees. They listen to you, they're open to new ideas. And being in this field, one needs to convince the management if you want to do something out of the box or something, but they're very open to new ideas, to new strategies and everything, and they really support you in that.
Shikhar, you're a fantastic guest, and it's really interesting this because you come through the doors of your offices and you see your sign, and the impression is tech, outsourcing, quite dry subjects, right? But actually through you, what you end up discovering is that you're sort of at the vanguard of your youth army, enabling them to do the real purpose of BLS, which is to enable the people. And it's a kind of beautiful, virtuous circle. Thank you so much for being on this show. Best of luck with everything else. Should we do a few quick-fire questions?
Sure.
Let's do it. Shikhar, shall we wrap up with some quick-fire questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. Swimming or golf?
Swimming.
Whiskey or wine?
Whiskey.
Fiction or non-fiction?
That's a difficult one. I like both, but I think fiction.
Delhi or Mumbai?
Delhi.
Mountains or sea?
That's another difficult one, but I think sea.
Brilliant. You've been a fab guest. Thank you so much, Shikhar.
Thank you.
BLS International is really a very surprising business. On the surface, a classic BPO driven by people, processes, and technology. But beyond this is the real billion-dollar idea. A well-oiled machine empowering the common man of India and people all around the world. I'm Jasper Reid, and join me on the next episode where we'll chart another amazing business story.